What's going on, guys? It's Bree from Boston Banner Bound, and I'm just going to fill you in on the Celtics for the past 7 games. Whether you've been watching, whether you gave up, whether you want this little mini recap so we can all, have our own little safe space to vent and cry together, this is where you're going to find it. So, they're just such a strange team. They played the Bucks twice in 1 week. And when Milwaukee the Bucks came to town, we ended up beating them. And you know what? They then led the series 2-0. Like the Celtics are really good against the Bucks. I'm not sure why. It's like they have their number. But then the Warriors, hot on fire Warriors, came to town, and you know that was going to be an L. Like, honestly, I knew that was going to be an L, and it was. But they put up a fight, I'll tell you that. They did. Then we beat the Knicks, lost to the Sixers, beat the Cavs, lost to the Bucks on Christmas, and now here's why I'm upset. We had not one, but 2 double-digit leads against the Bucks on Christmas. We had a 19-point lead against the Bucks on Christmas in Milwaukee, and we blew it. Then, somehow, magically, we got that lead back up to 12, and then, nope, blew it again. So that's fucking bullshit. However, interesting fact here, because of the COVID hardships, we're giving out 10-day games, like 10-day contracts, and we ended up signing someone named Joe Johnson, who the Celtics actually drafted as a rookie, and 20 years later he makes his appearance again on that 10-day hardship for the Celtics. 40 years young, this guy. They call him ISO Joe, and he got a bucket, and the fucking place went bananas. So that's something really interesting, really crazy. But we need it because Celtics had 12 players out due to COVID. And let me just tell you, the Bucks had one. They had one player out, and it was Brook Lopez. And no offense to Brook Lopez, but you're irrelevant. So the fact that the Celtics needed to recruit a 40-year-old to play is telling you that we are hurting, people. We are hurting. But now the regular season series is 2-1. The Celtics are still leading that series. I think that in general, the Celtics know how to guard the Bucks. They own the Bucks, and I really thought that they were going to win on Christmas, having a 19-point lead and then a 12-point lead, and then to just not be able to close out games. It's like a literal broken record. I feel like I keep saying over and over again, Celtics don't know how to close out games. They don't know how to close out leads. And actually, fun fact, but not so fun fact, that is the 4th game that the Celtics were leading by 18 or more and ultimately lost the game. So that's a terrible stat. I don't like reading that stat, but the truth hurts. So then they went, and this is probably the most pathetic loss, to be honest with you. They went to Minnesota and lost to the Timberwolves 108-103, and again, had a double-digit lead at the half. It wasn't as significant as 18 or 20 points, but it was an 11-point lead, and they ended up blowing that. The Timberwolves signed Greg Monroe, who was a former Celtic, to a 10-day hardship, and he literally owned the Celtics that day. So that was kind of a revenge game for Greg Monroe. But yeah, not looking good. Celtics are 16-18. They are 2 games below 500 at this point. They are the 9th seed. And I will say that the trade deadline is open, and it closes in February. So they need to make some decisions, make some trades, make some moves, make some changes, because the way that they are going, win, loss, loss, loss. It's like it's just not consistent. Or it is consistent that we are inconsistent. So Celtics need to figure it out. I do like the idea and the concept of the 10-day hardship contract, because it's actually giving people that we never thought we would see play basketball again the opportunity to play basketball. And you know what? Like, these old guys are actually hanging in there. Like, they're doing their job. They're playing really well. And you see that fire. You see them work harder because they really want to prove themselves. Some of them felt like they should have never left the league. Some of them felt like, due to things out of their control. They stopped playing basketball. They weren't able to do the thing that they love. And now the league is so desperate. These teams are so desperate that they have maybe 6, 7 active players on their roster that they're literally looking for anybody above 6'1" to put on a fucking jersey and go play basketball. So, hey, go to your local Y or park and ball out, and maybe they'll recruit you for 10 days. Maybe. You never know. That could be how you guys get your NBA start or shot. In other news, they play the Clippers tomorrow, a Clipper team that has no Paul George, no Kawhi Leonard, nobody of any real substance. They are 17-17, a 500 team in the West. They are actually, surprisingly, the 5th seed with that type of record. So everybody in the league is struggling, besides, the Suns and the Warriors for the most part. They also have a 2-game losing streak. The Celtics have a 2-game losing streak. So I feel like it's kind of an even playing field in a sense. Unfortunately, as of Monday, we saw that Jason Tatum is in health protocols. So, just when we thought that we were somewhat full strength, or we had 3 of our 5 starters healthy, another one gets put on the COVID list, so maybe Joe Johnson will ball out, entertain the crowd. I mean, we need some morale boost, so we'll see how it goes. Then they play the Suns, the red hot Suns on Friday for New Year's Eve. Honestly, it's just frustrating because Ime keeps saying no effort, don't know how to close out games, can't maintain the consistent effort. Is it to the point where it's the coach's fault? Is it the team's fault? Is it the star player's fault? I think it's an equal blame for everyone. You can't win a game with just great coaching because the players obviously need to execute it, and you can't just win a game with 2 players that, you need 5 people on the floor. So it's a team sport, it's team effort. If you're going to just give up and not play defense, you're not going to win. It doesn't matter how many threes you sink or whatever. Like, if you're not doing it on both ends of the floor, then you're going to keep finding yourself losing these games. Can't keep seeing this stat about having 18 or more points lead on a team and then losing it. That's just unacceptable. That can't happen anymore. Cannot happen. They should have won Christmas. It ruined my Christmas. So they need to figure it out and make it a better New Year's and pull it together. Like I said, trade deadline is open. Trade window is open. Deadline is in February. Maybe GM Brad needs to make some decisions, some executive decisions. Has a great basketball IQ. I feel like he won't let us down. So we will see what happens. Hopefully they can beat the fucking Clippers tomorrow at home. We will see. I'll be back with another edition of Boston Banner Bound in a few. Thanks, guys. Happy holidays.